welcome back to the Cailey MacLean channel. And in this episode, I want to go down memory lane with you guys about my husband and I's trip about a few years ago in New York in the fall. I was going through and having to organize a lot of my laptop footage, and I was seeing all these just lovely little clips of this time that him and I had together, and I don't know, I'm 25 weeks pregnant, and the idea of going to New York in the fall sounds amazing, but it's not in the cards right now. So this is about as close as I get to it, is if I can't go to New York in the fall right now, if you're planning a trip to New York in the fall, I just want to give you guys a couple of highlights, what it was like, what I recommend, and what I would do again. So grab your tea and let's go ahead and get started. My first recommendation that I'm gonna make to you that will be completely autumnal and perfect for New York in the fall is going to go to a classic cruise line in New York, particularly the Sunset Cruise. So I had watched a lot of YouTube videos and I'd been doing a lot of research, and I had heard about Classic Cruise Line, and I have to say their reputation is solid, and it was a wonderful experience. I would completely repeat it again. My husband and I, slight mistake of scheduling that, my fault, on the same day that we landed, we ran to go and get to our boat. We were on the Manhattan 2. And I loved the Manhattan 2. It was lovely. They take you really close up to go see Lady Liberty, and you get to be there, hence in the name, the Sunset Cruise. You get to watch the sun setting, and if you look over to your left, that's where you're gonna see like the way the sun reflects on the skyline. And that was actually probably my favorite part, because you actually got to watch the skyline begin to change colors, and it had like a pink hue to it. And oh gosh, it was so gorgeous. And when we went inside, you can dress up for this or you could dress casual. People were doing both. And inside there was like this gorgeous just fall decorations. I don't think I caught the decorations in video. If I did, I'll insert it. If not, I'll put a picture right here. But it was so pretty, and I remember they included drinks, and I don't remember if they included snacks. And it was funny because my husband and I, we don't drink, we do ginger ale. And I think, we kind of had a good laugh because the guy that was getting ready to announce like safety precautions and etc. And he was like, and you all get it like a drink included in your cruise. And I don't remember everything he said, but it was something like, if you're one of those wimps or losers or whatever it was, like that doesn't drink, then, we have ginger ale for you. And then we happened to be the first table that he was serving. And I remember his face made me laugh because he was like, what would you like to drink? And I was like, we love ginger ale. So I just remember his face, and I was just like, oh. But he put it in the cute little fancy glass for us. So after you get your drinks, they'll announce when you can now freely roam the deck. And if you can book a seat that is by the window, it is by far the best. They had booths, but we were in one of the tables in the middle of the boat. So we went and walked out on the deck, and it was the best experience. It was windy, but there was the sunset, and you had Lady Liberty with the sun setting behind her, and you had the New York skyline. And if you can, see it during the sunset. Ooh, see it during the sunset. That's like the best thing. Then the next day, what we did is we went to the classic. You can't miss it especially if you're going to New York in the fall. Really, if you're going to New York anytime, you should be checking this out, and that's gonna be Central Park. It is a staple. I had no idea that there was actually a lot more parks than just Central Park, just because all of Hollywood, all the movies and everything, this is the classic. This is the park that shows up. It's in Home Alone, it's in a lot of movies. And I didn't realize until we went on a tour that they were sharing there was actually other parks out there that were even bigger than Central Park. But when you are in Central Park, just the feeling and the experience, you understand why this is the one that you're gonna wanna visit, especially in the fall. don't miss it in the fall. And you just go on a walk and you see the fall leaves, and there was like kids that were having soccer practice in the park, and you just sit on a bench and you talk for a while. And this is one of those experiences where you slow down. And I was amazed by being able to see the whole tree line of New York, and then right above the tree line you would see all of the skyscrapers. And to me it just looked like the trees were acting like a frame to these magnificent skyscrapers, this whole skyline. It was an experience that I miss to this day. You have to go see it. And that's where you can go and get a hot dog. You can't go to New York without getting one. I got a regular classic hot dog. My husband got I wish he was here, I could ask him. He got like a spicy hot dog. I will insert in here what he got. I'll ask him. Again, this was a few years ago. We're going down memory lane. After that, we went to, and we just kind of walked around, and we decided we wanted to go and get some coffee. So we really quickly looked up coffee shops in the area. Apparently this is like a big staple to go to. At least that's the impression we got when we went there. We accidentally stumbled upon Ralph Lauren's coffee shop, and then also their whole boutique, their whole shopping area. And it was neat to go inside. People would get reservations, and it looks like it was an area you could go and have food, but they had a little coffee shop section you could order from. And so we chose to order from there. The coffee that we got, we definitely got shocked by the New York pricing. I can't remember exactly. I'll look up again and insert here what the price was of their coffee if I can find it. And I wouldn't say the coffee or the hot cocoa, because that's what I got, was anything spectacular. I went and I took a tour around and I looked at the boutique and all the different clothes, and none of it was something that was even remotely close to our price range. But it was fun to see. I really do value seeing clothes that are unique, that have good quality to them. Would I go again? No, I wouldn't. It was fun to like walk around and see. Probably the most entertaining part that we got out of it is that we sat outside the coffee shop for a while, and that street we were on was super entertaining, because you saw some people walk past that had pretty high-end fashion sense and characters that you just would never see anywhere else. So it was a really fun place to people watch. But I wouldn't say that I would say this has to be on your bucket list or anything. I think you could skip it. We just stumbled upon it. The next thing is when you're in Central Park, because again, it's not that far. Ralph Lauren's not that far from Central Park. It was just a little walk and we were right back in it. Is I would rent a toy boat or I would rent a rowboat. Sadly, it was both options were not available when we went there, but oh my gosh, if I were to go back, I would 100% do this. You can rent a little toy sailboat and be able to play with it on the lake, and you and your person can go ahead and both rent them and then race them on the water. Or you can rent a rowboat, and just to imagine doing that in New York in the fall with the foliage out on the water. Oh my gosh, there was so many times we were walking and I just told Justin, I was like, oh my gosh, I really wish there was that option to be able to rent a rowboat and go out there. We couldn't do it, but I recommend if you go to, just look up the days that it's available to rent. We happened to be on a day where they were not available. And I don't know if that becomes dependent on weather too. Just definitely learn the lesson from me and do your research. From there, we went to a restaurant, highly recommend. It was called Uptie, and it was so worth it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I would go back there again. Again, it's called Uptie, and I will include the address of where it was. Honestly, Justin and I got completely different dishes and you can't go wrong with it. It's just so good. It's such good quality. After we finished eating, we took a little bit of a walk and then we went for an evening ride to go up the skyline of the Edge. So you get on an elevator, you go to the very top, and the Edge, it's a skyline that has a really nice big balcony. The tickets are really not that expensive. It was around $60 for both Justin and I to go, and you really make sure you're good with heights. Like, I had been on tall things and had never had an issue with heights before, but I realized I had never been in a skyline, and for some reason in my brain that was very different. You get on this elevator and it's going up and it's going up and it's going up, and your ears pop and you start to realize, oh my gosh, I think I'm not okay anymore. And when those doors opened, my goodness, whoever they pay to clean their windows deserves a pay raise, because there was like not a spot on those windows. But as scary as the Edge was, eventually I was able to collect myself. And I would say, unfortunately, that was towards more of the last 15 minutes of your time slot that you're given there. But this one I highly recommend as a fall activity, particularly at night. You could do it during the day and you could see the fall foliage, and that's amazing. But something about that nighttime setting with all the lights was such an amazing experience. I personally really loved it a lot, and it is worth it, except if you're afraid of heights, then don't waste your money on it. That was it for that day. The next day we went on a tour. I don't recommend the tour. Be really careful about the tour that you go on. Be mindful about how much they're trying to cram in for the day, and if it seems too good of a deal, and really look at the reviews of the tour place that you want to go book with, because we went on one and it felt like that scene from Monte Carlo with Selena Gomez where they're on that crap tour in Paris and they're just like rushing them through landmarks. It's like, oh, do you see that? And we just drove past it. But that they would consider that part of their itinerary. So overall, I wouldn't recommend the tour unless you do it towards the beginning of your trip. And it's a great way for them to really quickly take you to all these destinations and for you to decide afterwards which ones you want to go to after the fact. And that's what Justin and I did. We were fascinated with looking inside the New York Public Library. Fun fact, the New York Public Library is more exhibits, at least when we went, it's more exhibits. It's not actual, books on the walls. It's nothing like that. You have to go to, I believe, the Morgan Museum or the Morgan Library, excuse me, to get that experience. So depending on what you're looking for, whenever I'm thinking of fall, I'm thinking of book reading time. I'm more in that mindset, and I love a good library. So personally, if I were to go back and do it during the fall, I would recommend to go check out the Morgan Library. I think that one would be amazing to do in New York. It looks gorgeous from the photos I've seen. And lastly, what I recommend that we personally experienced was going to St. Patrick's Cathedral. It's gorgeous, especially in the fall, and I love the architecture, and they had this gorgeous arch that they had done on the front of to dress the cathedral, and it looked amazing. And it was something where if I could go back and just sit there for a while, it was such a beautiful experience to see what people built, what they put together, the design. And that was everything that if I was going to New York in the fall, what I would recommend, what I wouldn't recommend, little tidbits and logistic recommendations in the middle there. Guys, being 25 weeks pregnant, I am just, for some reason, really going down memory lane, and I'm having to organize the storage in my computer. And I saw all of these videos with New York, and I just was like, this just seems like such a cool thing to revisit. So thanks so much for coming with me to not only get recommendations, but also just getting to experience New York in the fall again with me. And I can't wait to see you guys for the next episode. Happy fall. Bye.